Hello and welcome to week 11. I'm very happy to welcome you back. Things are moving right along. This week we're going to go back a little bit and go back and talk about transitions. They are an important piece of giving speeches, and it's something that's quite helpful for us. Now, it's a short main lecture by itself, and so I wanted to add some material talking about flag design since that directly connects with your main project that's going on. So, about the concept of flag design and making a good flag versus making one of the world's ugliest flags, which we'll talk about, which will be talked about rather later in the video. So hopefully things are all right. Hopefully you all got home safely. It was very good seeing you. And with that, let's get into the main body. With that, let's take a look at the main lecture of our lecture this week, week 11, and that is speech transitions. Now, I know you've learned a lot of this before, but hasn't been used in practice. I'm not quite so sure about that, but it is something to review. It's always good to review. So let's take a look together. Oh, but before that, let's talk about the midterm test. The following topics will be set on the test. Flavorful versus fluffy language, making a point, knowing your audience, interrupting, and introductions. All those topics will be covered on the test. So most of the questions will be multiple choice, but there'll be some short answer and one short essay question as well. Nothing too difficult though. Now, on Thursday, a student asked a very pertinent and important question about the flag project. And the flag project is an individual project. You're doing it by yourself. It is not, repeat, not a group project. So that's a very important thing to clarify before they're due. So excellent stuff. With that, let's segue into speech transitions. So speech transitions, what are they? They, of course, are these magical little words and phrases that help your argument flow smoothly, and they're usually, most oftenly, consist of one word or a short phrase, but sometimes they can be an entire sentence. For example, speeches, they help smooth over the boundary between two ideas and reveal a relationship, and between the words that have just been spoken and the words that are about to be spoken. With speech transitions, your audience understands your message better. It's easier to understand, easier to follow along. Now, what are the different types of speech transitions? First, we're going to talk about, transitions between two similar points or ideas, two same things. So A and A. So likewise, similarly, this is just like, in a similar way. We see the same thing if we consider. All these nice words and phrases help connect two agreeing ideas. So all of these are nice, short phrase and words to use when we're talking about two similar ideas. On the other hand, if we use two contrasting points of views, sorry, had to take a break with that real fast. That's life happens. We see some nice phrases here that are quite helpful for contrasting different ideas. So we see, however, conversely, or on the other hand, which is what I used before, or on the other side. If we flip that around, yet we cannot ignore the opposing argument, if we examine the opposite side, we see those are all nice phrases to make transitions between two contrasting points when we're trying to make a point. Now, let's go into more detail a little bit. If we want to elaborate on the idea a bit more, we need to go into more detail, more explanation. So, furthermore, when we're talking about something and we want to, talk a lot more about it, it's the going into details about this. So we have some nice phrases here with also, moreover, in addition, furthermore. In other words, not only that, but So that's all. Those are nice words for transition to elaborate on an idea. But not only that, but we can also show cause and effect. A happened, and so B happens. So therefore, as a result, consequentially, for that reason, it is important because. So to show cause and effect, though, it is important because we see that. So we had 3 good weeks, 3 very active weeks in person, which was very nice. And for that reason, we're going back talking about transitions in the videos because we didn't talk about them in person classes because those are just too much fun. Now, similar to an essay where we have the introduction, body, and conclusion, speeches have that as well, and we've seen that in our different examples. Now, transitioning from the introduction into the body, the main argument, the main point of our speech, we have some nice phrases and words like, let's begin. To get started, let's examine. Let's get started talking about. Now that we've given an overview, let's start with. These are all nice transitions going from introduction to the body. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's move on to transitioning to another speaker, which talks about, if you're working with a partner or a team, going back and forth. And this is nice and important so that people have, the audience, the people, have an idea of who is talking and what's going on. So this is just some nice sentences here to talk about this next topic. We'll speak. I'll pass it over to now. Or we'll explain next. So going back and forth between speakers. Now, unfortunately, with our current setup, we're not able to actually do these kind of speeches. But this is a very helpful and important part of transitions because it helps you make our presentations, our group presentations, much better. Moving on from the body of the speech to the conclusion. Now here we have some 3 short little ones that are very helpful. To summarize, in conclusion, let's recap what we went over. All 3 very nice things. So let's recap what we went over today in the main lecture. It's very short, I agree. Excuse me. But we went over some different phrases that we can use to transition between different situations. That would be transitions with the similar ideas, connecting to similar ideas, connecting to contrasting ideas, but also connecting the introduction to the body, connecting the body to the conclusion, transitioning between speakers within a presentation, and also transitioning to elaborate more on a point, to talk more about it. And speaking of talking more about something, let's go in a bit more detail about the midterm test. Now, the test is open from today, while I'm recording this, October 29th through November 7th. You'll have 120 minutes to complete it. Make sure you do that. But just to help you out in the future, on your test, make sure you understand clearly fluffy and flavorful language. In the past, students have gotten confused about those 2 points, those 2 ideas. And so it's a very good idea to review fluffy and flavorful language. So make sure to check your textbook and review. All the answers will be found in your textbook, not in the PDF on eClass. Questions format, it's just multiple choice, yes/no questions, and an essay question where you have to give your reasoned opinion. You'll need to explain why you think you are. Now, for spelling, things like that, if you spell, most of that won't play a factor because it's, there's just 1 or 2 short answer and then an essay question. So you don't have many opportunities to spell things wrong. If you spell 1 or 2 words wrong, it's okay. I understand that, on eClass, it's set up that you cannot copy and paste into the essay box. So you need to type your essay into that box. So, there'll be some incorrect spelling, some incorrect grammar. That happens overall. If it's very incorrect, well, then that it affects your comprehensibility, that I can't understand your points, then that affects your grades. If you have one or two typos or one or two grammatical errors, that's not a big deal. But if it affects your communicative abilities, then that is a big deal. And there we have it. Nice, short, simple, to the point. Make sure to take care of your midterm examinations. It's nothing too difficult for this section. It's there, make sure we've been paying attention, that's all. Make sure to take care of your flag projects as well, and make sure to check out the attached videos that discuss those projects. They discuss the ideas of flag design. If you remember a few weeks ago, we talked about the 5 rules of flag design. There's a video that goes into some detail, and the speaker identifies what he considers the ugliest flag in history. It's the city of Pocatello, Idaho, and then which he identifies as the ugliest flag. And in a nice follow-up, there's another speech by one of the managers of the city of Pocatello, Idaho, who talks about having the ugliest flag in America and his efforts to make a better one. And so they dovetail nicely together to each other. All right. Nothing else much this week. Hopefully you were staying happy, healthy, and safe. Make sure you're studying for all your tests, and we'll see each other again next week. Thank you very much, and goodbye.